Welcome aboard, folks. Here we go again for another Saturday of Your Voice Counts, and I'm very happy to be guest hosting on this great network, RBN, and I hope that everybody that listens in, that takes advantage of the great sponsors and the people that make this show possible. I'm very happy to be on air with RBN, and I'll tell you why. It's because of many things. First of all, it's real news, real talk, real people, RBN, because you can handle the truth, and that's what we're all about here is the truth. No smoke and mirrors, no BS, no nothing like that. It's this show's dedicated to the crew of the USS Liberty. I might add, no, it's not just dedicated to the crew of the USS Liberty. It's dedicated to all wrongs that have been done to servicemen and women in the modern day and past history. They are not forgotten. They're not forgotten by me, or they're not forgotten by the survivors of the USS Liberty. That's why I'm so proud to be on this radio show. And we've had so many great guests on this show. I can't tell you how many people have been on the show that I just admire very, very much. And we have a guest coming up here just shortly. Of course, I got to get my business done, but again, remember, RBN is, on a pledge drive, and I want you folks to go to RBN, republicbroadcasting.org, and remember to give as much as you can and pledge as much as you can to this great radio station, and let's keep it as great as this is, and let's get it bigger and better. And I talked to a shipmate this morning about mainstream news. Well, mainstream news is out. It's going out, and it's going out quick because of stations like RBN and others that don't take the handful of gold that they're paid not to tell the truth. They spin it. RBN's not that way, and that's one of the reasons I'm on air with RBN and very proud to be. So remember, to pledge whatever you can to the RBN drive, and we'll keep on, telling the truth, get as many guests as we can on air, and we're booked up for the next month or a month and a half, so we got some great guests coming on, none better than my next guest, and I'll get to her in just a minute, but I still have to get to more business. Now, my book just came out, a brand new edition. I just got one copy today, and I'll tell you, folks, it's fantastic what they've done with this book. Paul Angel and American Free Press, it is, I'm telling you, it's fantastic. If you want to get my book, What I Saw That Day, go to 888-698-8706, 888-698-8706, and get my book. It's expanded quite a bit through pictures and testimonies from survivors, Ron Kukul, Larry Boyles, who was aboard the USS Davis that came to our aid, and just many more great things in the book. I'm telling you, it's just fantastic. I'm very, very happy, and I thank you fellows for doing such a great job. Thank you very much. Also, go to tinyurl.com/USS Liberty. That's John Godusco's site, former officer aboard the USS Liberty. If you want to get anything about the USS Liberty, be sure to go to that site. None others but his. Folks, we'll be back in just a minute. Support your sponsors on RBN. And we'll see you in just a few seconds. Take care. God bless. Bye.
Hi, my name is David Stovenell, and I host a talk radio show called Operation Restore Christian America. To listen online, go to GenuineChristianityNow.com. Then click on the Listen Live button every Saturday at 10 a.m. Central Time. My primary focus is that the Protestant Freemason British Royal Windsor family is now apostate and making their final all-out attack worldwide in an attempt to force us to accept their satanic New World Order. I offer remedies of how to stop them. The British monarchy has totally abandoned their ancestors' genuine Christian faith and have returned to their effort to conquer the world through the sovereign's will, hidden laws, violence, terror, and deceit. Remember, to listen online, go to GenuineChristianityNow.com, then click on the Listen Live button every Saturday at 10 a.m. Central Time.
Berkey purification systems have long been recognized as the world's ultimate in water purification. Berkeys are used worldwide under normal, hostile, and emergency environments. Securing your access to good-tasting, sparkling, wholesome drinking water can be harder than you might expect. Water is often laced with chlorine, lead, high levels of harmful bacteria, and other unwanted chemicals and contaminants. Even bottled water can contain these contaminants, and moreover, it's expensive. Other purification systems are inferior. Most do remove pathogenic bacteria, and many remove the beneficial minerals that your body needs. Perhaps that's why Berkey systems have long been recognized as the world's ultimate in water purification. This simple, highly effective method of microporous, self-sterilizing, and recleanable black Berkey purification elements bring you the finest water purification system available anywhere. Call today, 1-800-724-2719. That's 1-800-724-2719. Or go to our online store, republicbroadcasting.org. Free shipping for a limited time only.
Heart disease is on the rise. Clogged arteries, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol levels may not be fully detected by you, but the symptoms are there. Loss of energy, blood sugar spikes and drops, poor circulation, and irregular heartbeat are just a few of these that can alert you that something is wrong. Hear how Heart and Body Extract is making a difference in thousands of people's lives across America.
My blood pressure has normalized. My diabetes has totally improved.
Everyone is telling me now how much healthier I look, and I'm telling everyone how much healthier I feel. I recommend Heart and Body Extract to everyone.
Anybody over 40 in the North American continent should be using this product as a preventative to keep their cardiovascular system healthy.
Order your 2-month supply today by calling 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. Or order online, hbextract.com. Heart and Body Extract, 866-295-5305 or hbextract.com.
The time has finally come for the story to be told that should have been listened to a long time ago. In 1967, on the 8th day of June, came the attack of the Liberty and the needless loss of many of the crew.
Welcome back, folks. Here we go to Your Voice Counts. Thank you for sticking on and, hanging on. If you want to call in, just go to 800-313-9443, 800-313-9443. And I want to thank that angel of a voice, Kat Farber, I think I got it right. I hope I do. But she's just a sweet, wonderful, wonderful woman brought to us by our good friend and shipmate, Larry Thornburg. Larry Thornburg is living down in Old Mexico right now, just, soaking up the sun and having a good time. But he's the first one that got a hold of Kat, and Kat did the songs. And if it wasn't for Larry, I'd never had the pleasure to meet that wonderful voice and wonderful woman, Kat. She's just a super, super gal, and I really appreciate her interest in the USS Liberty, getting guests and so on and so on, along with Ron Kugel, shipmate, and James Morris, a guy out in California that has got a wonderful site. It's called ushijacked.com, ushijacked.com. Go to that site and learn a lot, folks. And you'll learn from it because it is the truth. And he has a lot of tiny URLs there and stuff like that. I'm not going to go into all those on the show. It's just too many, but he's got a lot of things there you'd be interested in. Now, folks, this show, like I said, is dedicated to the crew of the USS Liberty, the dead, the survivors, their families, and so on, and the people that were involved in the murder of 34 of my shipmates, the wounding of 174 others, 850 cannon rocket holes in our ship, over 5,000 armor-piercing bullets in our ship, a 40 by 40 foot hole in our ship by one of the 5 Israeli torpedoes that were shot at us. On and on and on. This murderous attack went on for about 2 hours, as long as the attack on Pearl Harbor. Help was never meant to come to us, and help never did. Not for 18 hours did we see an American ship, sad as it is. They were only 15 minutes away from us, and they didn't come help us. We were set up by our own government to sink at the hands of Israel and blame it on a foreign government. That government would be Egypt. Jet aircraft were in the air from the USS America to annihilate Cairo with nuclear-tipped weapons. If our message wouldn't have got out that the gig was up, we knew who was attacking us, the government of Israel, through their torpedo boats and their helicopters that they were sent over to murder the rest of us that were still left. The Liberty would have gone down, and it would have been World War III, folks, because that's how close it was, within 3 to 4 minutes of World War III. And the crew of the USS Liberty carries that heavy burden. It carries that heavy burden of being betrayed by their own country, and then our supposed ally Israel, that got great joy and laughter and glee about murdering Americans and Marines, sailors aboard the high seas. And they're still getting by with it. Still getting by with it. Nothing's been done because of our Congress and our president. Since LBJ, they won't touch this issue because it's too inflammatory. I mean, what would the people of the United States of America think if they knew that our own government set us up to be sunk by our bestest ally in 1967, June 8th, in a beautiful, beautiful sunny day, with their murderous assault? This country, if they even knew it now, and they should know it now. But that's what I'm here for, is trying to get the truth out. And, you know, I've been lucky enough in my lifetime to be around a lot of good people, notwithstanding all my shipmates. Gary Brummett, Mo Schaefer, Ron Kukl, Ken Shaley, Gene Owens, on and on and on. Just great men that care about our country. Don Pagler, excuse me. And then, of course, the people that led this great nation, Thomas Moore, former chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Admiral Starring, former JAG officer of the United States Navy. In fact, Ward Boston was involved with Admiral Starring. We'll get in that when our guest gets on. And, of course, the people in Zimmerman, Minnesota, that's got a great park up there, that belongs to us, the survivors, and in their memory. And, of course, the Grafton people up in Grafton, Wisconsin, that have that wonderful library up there called the USS Liberty Memorial Library, thanks to the Grove Brothers and Jim Grant and many others that made sure that library was completed, because they didn't want it completed. They didn't want it completed because the Israeli firsters or the Zionists or the ADL or AIPAC wanted that library not to be built, but it was built all on the backs of the Grove Brothers in the great town of Grafton. Thank you, Grafton. Thank you, Zimmerman, Minnesota. Thank you, Grove Brothers. Thank you all for your help. Now, folks, I'm going to bring you on here a person that her father is one of the great heroes in American history. One of the greatest heroes in American history, in my view, that he did not take the real truth of the USS Liberty to the grave. And I'll just read a small part here about our beloved Ward Boston and his dear wife that has passed. This is in my book in complete detail of what Ward did and what he said. Captain Boston: I, Ward Boston, Jr., do declare that the following statement is true and complete. For more than 30 years, I've remained silent on the topic of the USS Liberty. I'm a military man, and when orders come in from Secretary of Defense and the President of the United States, I follow them. However, recent attempts to rewrite history compel me to share the truth. I'm going to read one more paragraph here, and then we'll get our guest on. In June of 1967, while serving as captain as a Judge Advocate, General Corps, Department of the Navy, I was assigned as senior legal counsel for the Navy's Court of Inquiry into the brutal attack on the USS Liberty, which had occurred on June 8, 1967. The late Admiral Isaac Kidd, president of the court, and I were given only 1 week to gather evidence for the Navy's official investigation of the attack, despite the fact that we both had estimated that a proper inquiry into the attack of this magnitude would take at least 6 months to conduct. I read a little bit more, but I have to go on. Admiral John S. McCain, Jr., then Commander-in-Chief, Naval Forces Europe, that's John McCain, the Senator's daddy, at his headquarters in London, had charged Admiral Kidd in a letter dated June 10, 1967, to inquire into the Department of Pertinent Facts and circumstances leading and connected with the armed attack, damage resulting therefrom the deaths and injuries of Navy personnel, which ended up to be 34 dead sailors, 2 Marines, and one NSA personnel, Alan Blue. I could go on and on and on, but you got pretty much the story. Captain Boston did not take this to the grave. He took it and he brought it out to the forefront. And I'm very honored to have his daughter on the line right now. Very respected woman and very honest woman. Ann Parish, Captain Ward Boston's daughter. Ann, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You're very welcome, Ann. And I'd like to ask you a question about growing up with your father. I know he's a distinguished pilot and lawyer, and I think he went to school at William and Mary. Is that correct, to become a lawyer?
Yeah, that is correct. He left music school, I think at age 17, when the war began, left music school to go to Pensacola, Florida to learn how to be a pilot, then flew off a carrier for 4 years. After the war, he attended William Mary, and then he, I guess, met my mom doing Weekend Warriors down in Norfolk, and they were married. He finished law school, and then he went into the FBI, and I guess his passion for the Navy brought him back into the Navy, so he spent the next, remaining career years, I guess, as attorney in the Navy, JAG. I think I got that right.
Yes, you did. He was a JAG officer, no doubt. And I understand that, I think you had one brother or 2 brothers that grew up with you, Ann.
I have 2 brothers. One is Ward Boston III. He lives with his family in St. Petersburg, Florida. And I have another brother, Jeffrey Boston, who lives in Park City, Utah. Sorry to say St. Peters, but Park City, Utah.
Okay, Ann, we got to go to another break. Then we got a long stretch we're going to go into, and then we'll probably take a few callers. But folks, stay forward to a very interesting show with the distinguished Ann Parish, daughter of the Honorable American Ward Boston. Support your RBN sponsors. Thank you.
Berkey purification systems have long been recognized as the world's ultimate in water purification. Berkeys are used worldwide under normal, hostile, and emergency environments. Securing your access to good-tasting, sparkling, wholesome drinking water can be harder than you might expect. Water is often laced with chlorine, lead, high levels of harmful bacteria, and other unwanted chemicals and contaminants. Even bottled water can contain these contaminants, and moreover, it's expensive. Other purification systems are inferior. Most do remove pathogenic bacteria, and many remove the beneficial minerals that your body needs. Perhaps that's why Berkey systems have long been recognized as the world's ultimate in water purification. This simple, highly effective method of microporous, self-sterilizing, and recleanable black Berkey purification elements bring you the finest water purification system available anywhere. Call today, 1-800-724-2719. That's 1-800-724-2719. Or go to our online store, republicbroadcasting.org. Free shipping for a limited time only.
If you're the mother of a child with behavior problems, I'd like to talk to you. My name is Janet Lehman. I'm a behavioral therapist and a mom. I know what it's like when the child you love becomes a defiant, out-of-control child who disrespects you. That's why my husband James and I created the Total Transformation, the program that tens of thousands of moms are now using to turn around their child's behavior. If you've heard about the Total Transformation and wondered if it will work for you, now you can try it for free. I'm willing to give away 1,000 programs today for free. All you need to do is get the program and let us know how it works for you. We'll let you keep it for free. I know the Total Transformation works because I used these techniques with my own son and with troubled kids for over 30 years. Let me prove to you that it works by giving you the program for free.
Call now. 1-800-583-1093. 1-800-583-1093. That's 1-800-583-1093.
Sure, there are winter specials, and then there are super winter specials at herbalhealer.com. Battle through this cold and flu season with powerful, natural, and safe flu fighters like elderberry power, origicillin, olive leaf capsules, grapefruit seed extract, and Resper 8, all specially priced during the winter sale at herbalhealer.com. Don't forget vitamin D3 this winter. Right now, herbalhealer.com has 120 soft gels, 1,000 IUs, sale priced at only $9. We also have a super winter special on 6 homeopathic liquid detoxes: whole body detox, liver detox, kidney detox, lymph detox, brain detox, and lung detox. All liquid detoxes, regularly $26.95, are now just $20. herbalhealer.com. As always, new customers get a free 128-page catalog with your order. Log on now and save big when you hit the winter specials at herbalhealer.com. Healing the world with nature, one person at a time, since 1988.
Well, finally, the officials back to Washington sent out a message that the ship moved farther out to sea.
Welcome back, folks. Here we go with our special guest, Ann Parish. And I wanted to say again, thank you, Kat, for your beautiful, beautiful voice. I know you have other songs coming out about the Liberty, and we certainly appreciate that. But, Ann, I wanted to ask you a couple things, and I hope you don't think I'm digging too deep into your personal, life growing up with your father and things like that. But, in my book, I've got the complete declaration from what your dad said, and also I've talked to your dad 4 or 5 different times, and we talked about that earlier this week. But your father was a very dedicated naval officer, very dedicated, and I might say very dedicated in the fact that he got a lot of awards from the United States Navy. And when you guys were growing up in your home, how was your father, and how was his mood, and did he love the Navy?
Oh, yes. He and my mother were devoted, to the Navy and their duties as far as his honor and integrity was reflected in his I guess moral standing, and he was very strict. I used to say if we embarrassed him outside the house, it was double trouble coming home if he found out about it. But no, he was a good, very good husband. He and my mother were two partners in crime and enjoyed each other immensely. And I know they're at peace together, and they're overlooking Coronado, and I feel comfort knowing that I'm pretty close to home now. But as far as a father, he did things like, I was thinking about this the other day. He would, when we were in Italy, he went to one of those days where, they brought in different occupations, and he spoke about his time in the FBI. And I think growing up, he used to talk to us about flying off a carrier, and 3/4 of his squadron was shot. They were shot down, and he made these night missions that all he could. I can remember him saying he saw these white darts coming at him, and let me think. I guess those were bullets. And of course, his real passion was the Philharmonic. Mr. Gomberg, Harold Gomberg, was his idol, and he was. We were very lucky when we lived in Italy. We used to go to Capri quite a bit, and he and my father and my mother and I guess Mrs. Gomberg met in Capri, and we went along. I remember sitting there drinking a Coke or something, the three of us. So it was a colorful growing up. I should certainly say we did not, we weren't sheltered from the trips through Europe, and my parents were vigilant about making sure when school was out we would take trips to Germany and Austria, and we would ski and Greece. I can remember my younger brother, Jeff, up on rocks on a hill, and I can, see my father cackling that, there goes Jeff. But, and Tripp played, that's Ward, that's my brother who's a year younger than I am. He played an instrument like my father. He was a real scholar. He went off to William Mary, and then he went into the Army. And he and his, I guess, college sweetheart were married right after college. And Jeff had a passion for other things like computers, and ended up doing some work for the, what did my mom tell me one time? State of California, and then he and his wife moved to Utah. So we were raised in a pretty strict environment where we had goals to attain, and, I guess in many ways we all attribute our strength from my father, and maybe our passion. My mom was Italian, probably from her. So in many ways they complement each other.
Interesting, really interesting. And you guys had a seems like a very wonderful family environment to grow up in, and now I really can understand the honor and dignity that your family has because of your dad, and you're overlooking. He's overlooking Coronado, and I know that's what you and your mom wanted, and you're there to take care of everything. But your dad took care of more than just your family. He took care of us. He took care of the USS Liberty survivors.
Do you want me to tell you a few stories about that? Now, you have to understand, I was in Virginia, and Tripp is in Florida, and Jeff's in Utah. So all of us would, come back and visit, but we did not live here, and so we kind of heard from my parents about the events that started rolling. I think Mr. Christoph, wrote a book. I'm not sure I'm saying
Crystal,
it right.
A.J. Crystal?
Yeah, and I think that's what prompted my father to speak out. But you have to understand, my dad was somewhat outspoken most of the time, so I was kind of like surprised. Well, what else is new, Dad? So he shared this with all of us, and that he was speaking to different people about this. And I think what I was going to say is what I recall the most about my father is when we were in Italy.
And we're going to go to another break, and then we got a real long segment coming on next. But I'm very interested in what your dad had to tell you about the USS Liberty, and we'll catch you on the other side, folks.
Right.
Real news, real talk, real people. RBN. Support your advertisers, please. Bye.
You're listening to the Republic Broadcasting Network, because you can handle the truth.
Corporate media dominates the American opinion. Finding independent voices that counter this avalanche is becoming increasingly difficult. With the endless corruption running rampant throughout our government, independent voices are needed more than ever to battle the offensive against our freedoms and liberties. As a listener of RBN, no one understands this concept better than you. Now it's up to you to do your part. The time has come for you to take action and begin broadcasting the truth to hundreds or thousands of people every month. Sound impossible? Quite the contrary. With pointed slogans from LibertyStickers.com, you can reach countless sleeping Americans unaware that they live in a real-life wonderland. LibertyStickers.com has a huge inventory of political bumper stickers and messages that reflect the truth about our government, our politicians, and the future of America. With so many in stock, there's one perfect for you. Visit us today at LibertyStickers.com. Again, that's LibertyStickers.com. Do your part. Your voice is important. Let it be heard.
As many of you know, natural supplements are fantastic for your body and have zero side effects. You need to restore your body's natural balance. TerraVim strives to carry only the highest quality dietary supplements and natural vitamins that can be beneficial in helping your body recover from the impact of daily stress, allergens, illness, environmental pollution, and the aging process. Why buy from TerraVim? Simple. TerraVim provides a rewards program. Earn $1 for every $10 spent, free health consultations, free shipping on all orders, and an additional 10% discount on every order when you mention the coupon code RBN. Call 866-647-4372. That's 866-647-4372, or go to terravim.com. That's TerraVim.com. TerraVim, the best supplements on earth.
Tired of being lied to by mass media? It's growing more and more apparent today that news is received less and less through standard media outlets. Even with a growing audience every day, RBN is beginning to direct more efforts into social media. Social media and the use of the internet is fast becoming the primary source of people for news, regardless of demographic. RBN has set out to provide some of the best news on the internet through republicbroadcasting.org, and also has begun to use the tools to our advantage by way of social media. Republic Broadcasting is now operating a Facebook page to function as yet another avenue to have our collective voice reach new audiences across not only America, but across the globe as well. The Facebook page features not only news, but also an RBN player to listen to our broadcasts, as well as a contest corner where we'll raffle different prizes to our listeners. Get involved by visiting facebook.com/Republic Broadcasting and liking our page and share it with your friends and family, because you can handle the truth.
They said that Israeli forces knew not of the Liberty's true identity.
Welcome back, folks. Welcome back, folks. Thank you for sticking with us on Your Voice Counts. What an interesting guest I have here. I was just thinking during the break about Ann growing up with this wonderful family, wonderful father and mother. An American that joins the Navy, becomes a pilot flying off aircraft carriers. Then he becomes a FBI agent. Then he becomes a JAG lawyer back in the Navy again. I mean, if there's anybody that has got truth on his side, your father does, Captain Ward Boston, the distinguished hero of the United States of America. Go ahead with your thoughts, Ann.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind. And actually, I should say on behalf of my brothers and myself, that's very nice for you to say those kind words about our dad, because, he was special. One of the things I think very few people know about him is that he was an only child, and he was devoted to his parents, Margaret and Ward Boston of Moberly, Missouri. And I don't think there was a day that didn't go by that he didn't speak of his parents, his devotion to them. And I think in a lot of ways, my grandmother, Margaret Boston, probably was the strength in the family. She was a very, well, I guess when you grow up in Missouri, she was left for many months at a time. Maybe my grandfather, Ward Boston, was a railroad engineer, and so I guess he went off on the railroad, and she was left like a lot of military families are to take care of my dad. So maybe that's where he found the courage to leave music school at 17, which I always am amazed at. And
Ann, I have to. When you said Missouri, that's where my dad grew up, and my mother's name was Margaret.
Well, it's a pretty name. I mean, that's my middle name, and you know, hey, I knew I was in trouble when my dad or my mom would say Aunt Margaret. So, you know,
Yeah.
they were serious at that point. One of the things I want to share with you is all through growing up, you know, through the years in Italy, we spent 3 years, my 9th grade, 10th grade, and 11th grade in Italy. And then we headed to, my dad then had orders to War College, so then we went to Newport, Rhode Island. But I think my brothers and I know my brother Tripp and I have talked about this, that how many high schools did we attend? I mean, how many schools? It was always we were picking up and moving. And I don't know if people understand the impact that has sometimes with even developing friendships, you know, because a lot of people would say, well, where did you go to high school? And I'd say, what year? You know, it wasn't a consecutive number of years at any one station, a duty station. But my dad, I never heard of the Liberty. So as far as ever speaking of this, I do remember, and I say this kind of joking, the night that this happened, he apparently, my mother told me, received a phone call and boarded a plane to head to Crete with Admiral Kidd. And I knew Admiral Kidd very well because his kids, we all were sandwiched in as age-wise. You know, we all went to high school together. So Chris Kidd was the same age as my brother Tripp. Then Angelique, I think, is the daughter that's a year older than I am. So we all went to high school, Fort Sherman in Naples. It boarded a plane and left to go to Crete. And then we didn't see my dad, I think, for a week. But I'm not trying to make light of this. But in our family, it was strict. I mean, we had certain rules. So it was almost like, oh, it's hot dog time tonight, because my dad expected and my mom fixed great meals. But we, I think, had a little bit of fun when he would leave. But never in my wildest dreams did I ever understand the seriousness of what happened and where he went, because he never spoke about it. So,
well, you know, Ann, your dad was ordered from the top down, but the real guy that was in charge of that cover-up was John S. McCain Jr., Supreme Commander Europe. And I remember Admiral Starring telling me that he had the inquiry in his hand, and your father came down there and said, hey, this has got to be done right away. And Admiral Starring says, well, listen, there's things here that I can't agree upon, and I just can't do it. So under the direct orders of Admiral John S. McCain Jr., that document was taken by your father, and 5 days later, it was turned into a complete Board of Inquiry, which your dad in his declaration said was nothing but a whitewash and lies. And let's get back to A.J. Crystal in his book. And thank God, A.J. Crystal, for writing this book, because your father was so infuriated by what he said in that book and the lies. And to have his son, John F. McCain's son, the good senator from Arizona, to support that pack of lies in his book, infuriated your father to the point that he says, this is it. I am a military man, but I'm not going to take this as grave. It was a cover-up. It was a sham. The government of Israel got by with cold-blooded, premeditated murder, along with the government of the United States covering it up. Now, I'll tell you something. Many other men, Ann, have since passed that didn't have the courage of your father. And I'll tell you, he deserves more respect, and he gets respect from the USS Liberty crew. You know what he did to us? He threw us a life raft when nobody else would, as Thomas More did, as Admiral Starring did, as the Grove brothers did for the library, as the people in Minnesota at Post 560 naming a park after us and our home port. And now here you are throwing us another life raft by giving us details about your father. And God bless you, and God bless your mother and father. And I'll tell you, we'll never forget it. We'll never forget it.
Well, I wanted to share something with all you guys that are, if anyone is listening to me talk, I want you all to know that when I visited him, one of the last times I saw him, he had all of these letters from you. And when my mother died and I came home to dispose of her belongings, all of those letters, everything that you all sent him for birthday cards, he felt like you were his brothers, because being an only child, he kept saying to me, I feel like I have a new family with new brothers, that he loved all of you. But everything is archived at Stanford University at the Hoover Institute. And we were very instrumental. I always speak on my brother's behalf, too, because the three of us wanted to make sure that my father, all his records from this incident was saved, because they were very interested in retaining the truth, as all of you have been. But everything is at Stanford University now, and being archived with the experts in Middle East research, I guess. So you're not going to be forgotten by a long shot, because everything is there, and I was very happy to do that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Ann, for you getting that up there, and hopefully it stays intact and it's there forever. And there's one other thing, and then we got a caller coming in. I wanted to ask you about your father when he came out about this. Was he angered? What did he tell you? He said, "I've been holding something back, kids," or what?
Well, I think he shared it differently with all of us. I can't speak for, what he said to my brothers, because we all had different conversations at different times of the day or evening or when we visited. But I think all of us are interested in the naval history component of, he wasn't, to answer your question, I don't think he was angry. I think he just felt like he wanted everyone to know what his position was. He boarded the boat with Admiral Kidd. And
I met your father when he came aboard. I shook hands with him.
Well, he said there were young men. I think he referred to most of the young sailors and officers as lads, and he said the young lads were either covered in blood. They were, body parts. I mean, he was very graphic about what he remembered. But this was the last 2000, I believe, is when this started, if I'm not mistaken, or 2002, 3, 4. I know it was the last 5 years of his life. I think it was, because he died in 08. It must have been 03, because I remember having a conversation with my parents about moving into my grandparents' house. And I was out visiting, and I said to them, why don't you all move into Grandma and Grandpa's house? It's closer. You can walk into town and get dinner, and you don't have to fool with driving. So they kind of looked at each other and said, that's a good idea. So they sold their house, and then from that point, I think that's when he became, because I'm recalling everything was here. Maybe it wasn't the case, more I think about it. But he was relieved. I think he felt like he was finally able to shed a lot of this the information that should have been, provided to the public when it actually happened.
Well, he did that, Ann, and God bless him for it. And I'll tell you, like I said before, the USS Liberty crew have a great honor and admiration for your father and your mother and your whole family. And listen, we got some callers here. We got James Morris and we got Ron Kugel. I'm going to take up the survivor first. Ron Kugel was in charge of body recovery and identification. Ron Kugel, go ahead, and then we'll get to James Morris, please. Ron, are you on air?
Take up too much time because I know you're running short. Point number one is that the personal letter I got from Captain Boston said that he felt that he needed to get this out because of what he termed to be OBE, or overtaken by events. In other words, the orders he was given years ago were overtaken by events. Now, I don't completely understand that, but he felt that he was free and clear to do that. And secondly, for Ann's benefit, and I know she already knows this, the public needs to know it, that Captain Boston, towards the end of his life, volunteered at the San Diego Police Department. I happen to know this, and I'm not sure if she mentioned it or not, simply because I kind of got cut off about halfway through the show here. I'm not sure what happened, probably a signal or something like that. And that's a very admirable quality for a man of his age. And I think he even told me he rode around in squad cars. Ann would know that.
Yeah, no, he actually did grand jury. When he retired from the Navy, he did grand jury. He did Poets, which is the group of senior, I think, naval officers. He did Optimist. He played, I was telling someone this the other day, he played his music for the Masonic little, the guys that ride around those little silly cars, He used to do that for years. And then he was an MC for the 4th of July parade in Coronado. But, yes, you're correct. Towards the end of his life, in fact, one of the last pictures I have of him is in his police uniform. And he just liked doing that. I think he just, and my mom played bridge and was very active in the community until, he died. And, I always say to everyone, after 61 years of marriage, she didn't know what to do without him. And I want to share something with all of you, because I know that he was very proud to have associated with all of you, but more so that you, if you feel vindicated, because he kept saying to me, no one would listen. These young lads lost families, they lost loved ones who would not believe what really happened, because they, or you all were displaced. They broke apart the crew and sent you all different places. I think that was one of the things he said, so that no two people could tell the right story. So all I can say is I know he was proud and honored to have been associated with all of you, but more so being able to share the truth towards the end of his life. I think it was one of his happiest moments.
Well,
long story short, yeah. Phil, I'm going to get right off here and honor James, because he's done a lot to support us. And I just wanted to make sure that got on there, because if anyone ever questioned what Captain Boston has done or the type of person he was, I don't think there's any much of a problem figuring out what kind of guy he was. So I'm off here.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
There's not much to figure out what type of guy Ron Kukl is either. He's one of the best guys that I've met in my life. We've gone back a long ways, and Ron has got a lot of baggage on him. Being in charge of body recovery and identification, as being a communications technician, a spook, a spy aboard that ship. I salute you, Ron. Thank you for calling in. James Morris, please come on air.
Hi, Phil. Thanks for taking my call, and thanks for the kind words by Ron Kukl, and thanks for mentioning the USHijacked.com website that I manage as well. I wanted to just actually salute Ron for arranging for Ann to come on the show. He's done great work with regard to getting guests on Your Voice Counts with Adlai Stevenson as well, and his interview is a must-listen for what he talks about with regard to the Israel lobby and fighting wars for Israel and all that. So kudos to Ron for getting Ann on as well. And it's very nice to be on air with you. I spoke with you briefly before the broadcast today, and I was, friends with you. I had the honor of being friends with your father, and we had long conversations. I was fortunate to be able to find out about the declaration that the Liberty attorney, Ron Gotcha, I don't know if he's an attorney with the Liberty Veterans any longer, but he was at the time, had helped to prepare. And it was kind of sitting in limbo, actually, and I'd found out about it and was able to get it to your father. I mean, there's kind of a story behind that, too. It got lost with the Federal Express delivery, and you had to hunt it down. Anyway, I was able to get it faxed to a contact of mine, James Bamford, who has the excellent book, Pretext for War, and other books on the NSA, including one that includes a chapter on the Liberty Body of Secrets, which is a must-read as well. And I was able to fax it to James Bamford the night before that State Department USS Liberty panel discussion on the Liberty, and A.J. Crystal was there trying to get his Ph.D. from the University of Miami on the record with the Israel Firsters at the State Department, and we kind of thwarted that when James Bamford got that fax of your father's declaration. He was able to read it there. So,
James, that's where they disrespected me in front of the whole world.
Exactly, Phil, exactly. And that actually was captured on C-SPAN, how that Mark Susser, the State Department historian, did that to you. And let me give a quick website out where you can actually see the link for that, the C-SPAN video, and also the excellent San Diego Union Tribune article that referenced me.
Folks, here we go with a little bit of a break. Stay online, James. You can finish up on the break, and I just want to thank you, Ann, for coming on air. We're not done yet. We will be in a few seconds. Folks, support RBN and the sponsors. Real news, real talk, real people, because you can handle the truth. Take care.
Corporate media dominates the American opinion. Finding independent voices that counter this avalanche is becoming increasingly difficult. With the endless corruption running rampant throughout our government, independent voices are needed more than ever to battle the offensive against our freedoms and liberties. As a listener of RBN, no one understands this concept better than you. Now it's up to you to do your part. The time has come for you to take action and begin broadcasting the truth to hundreds or thousands of people every month. Sound impossible? Quite the contrary. With pointed slogans from LibertyStickers.com, you can reach countless sleeping Americans unaware that they live in a real-life wonderland. LibertyStickers.com has a huge inventory of political bumper stickers and messages that reflect the truth about our government, our politicians, and the future of America. With so many in stock, there's one perfect for you. Visit us today at LibertyStickers.com. Again, that's LibertyStickers.com. Do your part. Your voice is important. Let it be heard.
Hey, honey, I'm home. I grabbed a newspaper on the way home. Look at all the news today.
Don't you know that all you're going to get in the newspaper is propaganda, twisted news, and false information?
Honey, this is a national newspaper. It has to be true.
Ha! For some reason, the majority of the population believe anything the mainstream media tells them. The newspaper doesn't give out the important attention of what's happening to this country and news that affects our daily lives. Say, does that newspaper mention anything about the North American Union?
No, not that I can see.
I didn't think so. You need to go to www.newswithviews.com, where truth is more important than political correctness. That's www.newswithviews.com. Hey, don't throw that away. We can use that in the birdcage.
Okay, move over. Let me start reading newswithviews.com.
The truth? Read all about it at newswithviews.com. Newswithviews.com, where reality shatters illusion.
Warning for all Gulf Coast disaster survivors. Be aware that dangerous gases are in the air you breathe. Benzene, hydrogen sulfide, methylene chloride, and Corexit 9500. Keep your body clean with microplant powder. For all Gulf Coast residents and all who want to be healthy, hempusa.org brings you a new formulation of microplant powder with lactobacillus acidophilus, rebuilding your immune system while detoxing the rest of your body, pulling out positive toxins, heavy metals, viruses, fungus, bacteria, and parasites. Cleans and purifies the blood, lungs, stomach, and colon. Microplant powder will help eliminate these dangerous chemicals from the body used in the Gulf cleanup. At hempusa.org, we want you to try our #1 selling detox product, Microplant Powder. Call and order at 1-908-691-2608, 1-908-691-2608, or visit us at hempusa.org today.
The end of the show. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that how much I appreciate Ann being on the show, daughter of Captain Ward Boston. And folks, let's kind of leave it at this, and then we'll try to get our guest and James on again. But no more wars for Israel. Iraq, Afghanistan, or the coming war with Iran. No more wars for Israel. Go ahead, James.
Phil, I just want to be quick. I couldn't not mention this. Well, first of all, that website where you can see that State Department panel discussion where James Bamford reads Captain Boston's declaration, which I was able to fax to him, unfortunately, the night before. You can go to tinyurl.com/Scots on Fox. And, of course, that's James and John Scott, Liberty survivor John Scott and his son James Scott, who's written the excellent book, Attack on the Liberty. tinyurl.com/Scots, SCOTTS, on Fox, FOX, and you can see Captain Boston's obituary from the San Diego Union Tribune, the article that referenced me sending the fax to James Bamford, and some other, and that C-SPAN video. We can't. Some other things I quickly want to say about Captain Boston.
Well, James, I just wanted to give Ann the last.
Yeah, just about McCain and how he was out. I was friends with Sidney McCain. You can Google Sidney McCain, USS Liberty, to find out more about that. And how I had heard from Captain Boston how when John McCain was first running for the Senate, Captain Boston had told me that he actually met him at a meet and greet that Duncan Hunter was holding for him, and Sidney McCain had corroborated that. And when he mentioned that he'd worked 3 Naval Court of Inquiries for John McCain's father, Senator McCain's father, John McCain Jr., he basically turned white, ignored him, and went to the next person in line. And Ann had said something similar to that had happened in Virginia, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay, thanks, James. Ann, go ahead, please.
Oh, I just attended a book signing party in Alexandria when he was touring. I think the Chamber of Commerce put it on. And my date wanted to get a book and a sign from him, an autograph copy. And when we got to the head of the line, I said, "Hi, I'm Ann Boston Parish." And he said, "Yes." And I said, "My father is Captain Boston." And he turned away from me, and literally, and I was actually just trying to be polite. I thought, well, we kind of have the same, history a little bit, and got so rattled that he autographed the book to Ann instead of to David. And so my friend said, "Thanks a whole lot. The book that I just bought is autographed to you." So,
boy.
I know.
Well, you know why he got so rattled, Ann, is because he didn't want to hear anything about the USS Liberty or your honorable, courageous father, Ward Boston.
Well, I don't. I just know that I didn't realize I'd get that reaction from him because it wasn't intended. But if I can just say one last thing about my parents, because I know that you all have the greatest honor and respect for my dad. But I have to say, and it is hard because it's the anniversary of my mother's death last Thursday, and it was very hard to get to that point. You almost feel like an orphan. But when my father died, I was telling my mother that George Burns and Gracie Allen had a wonderful marriage, and when she died, he had on her grave marker loving wife, mother, and sister. A whole string of names. When he died, he put on their grave marker as when they were together, as my parents are together again. So that was my mother's request. So my parents are together, and their grave marker says together again, and I think that's very humbling because
it is, Ann, and I want you to come back on air with me. Would you please again?
Sure, and thank you so much for talking about my dad, and I'm sure my brothers send the same sentiment. We're very proud to have the honor to let you tell everyone about Dad.
Okay, God bless you. God bless
Thank
you, and
you.
I'll be getting back to you. Remember, Real News, Real Talk for People, RBN, because you can't handle the truth. Bye.